just close my eyes again. Climbed aboard the Dreamweaver train. Trying to take away my worries of today and leave tomorrow behind. Ooh, Spellweaver, I believe you can get me through the night.
Let's talk Spellweaver. Before we get into it, if you do like this video, please chuck it a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. It really does help me out here on YouTube, so really appreciate you for doing that. Also, I stream regularly on Twitch at twitch.tv/mandatoryquests, where I play Gloomhaven a lot of the time, so come check me out there. Okay then, let's get into the build. Okay, so this is the AOE kill 'em quick glass cannon build for the Spellweaver. Doesn't matter if you're a glass cannon if you manage to kill them before they can kill you, right? The idea of this is to basically use high damage area of effect attacks in order to kill and do as much damage to as many enemies as possible in the quickest and shortest amount of time, put simply. At level 1, we're mainly going to focus on comboing Ride the Wind with Crackling Air. Crackling Air is going to give us that extra +2 damage, which we can then use with our Fire Orbs and our Impaling Eruption cards to really amplify that damage and kill things quickly. We can also use the Fire Element that Fire Orbs makes to use Flame Strike on a later turn to follow up and use a Wound as well to give us a little bit more damage over time. Mana Bolt is a huge role player in this set of cards because of the low initiatives. Mana Bolt will mainly be used for the initiative, most likely for the bottom as well, because we are wanting to combo it with a high damage attack so that we can make sure that we go early and kill everything. Aid from the Ether gives us a summon, which is even more damage that can be done, and also gets us an extra 2 XP every time we play it. And we can actually play this twice by making sure that we've either discarded it or it's been killed by the time we come to using Reviving Ether. And that brings us to Reviving Ether. This card is the cornerstone card for the Spellweaver. This allows us to do all of the big damage attacks that we do and do them twice. It also allows us to farm experience points just much quicker than any of the other starting classes. So this is a card that you're going to need to learn when to play properly, but is the most powerful card that we have in our arsenal. So the first card we're going to replace at level 2 is Flame Strike with Icy Blast. This is a big AOE attack that gives us Ice Element and also gives us 2 experience points. So this is going to really accelerate our leveling. This actually combos really well with Crackling Air, especially if we can get that +2. So we're going to be looking hopefully at attack 4 here. Also the bottom heal 6, range 2 is really nice to get you out of trouble if you need to. So Icy Blast, a great card. At level 3, we take Cold Fire. This is a hallmark cornerstone of this build. This card is great, giving the extra +2 attack if we consume the fire element, and the stun by consuming an ice element is incredible. Being able to stun potentially up to 3 enemies can be game changing. So this card is extremely strong and it's going to be very useful for us. We get rid of Crackling Air because it's starting to get a bit too slow for us. As we progress through the levels, you'll notice that the speed of the game and the speed that you want to go is going to speed up. You're going to be wanting to kill enemies a lot quicker, and having to set up the Crackling Air every time starts to become a bit more cumbersome. And also you're going to be able to stun the enemies now, so perhaps killing them is not necessarily going to be the only way of dealing with them quickly. So stun gives you a great option for that, so that's why we get rid of Crackling Air. At level 4, we ditch Ride the Wind to kind of get rid of that Crackling Air Ride the Wind combo, which we no longer need to do with this wind element, and instead we pick up Forked Beam, which has a good amount of movement on the bottom, which is probably what we're going to be using it for, and the top isn't bad either. This isn't a particularly glamorous card, but it's a role player and you will get some value out of the move 4, and certainly you'll get a little bit of value out of the attack 2, target 2 at the top, and it's more XP again, which is just going to keep us accelerating and leveling up quicker. At level 5, our element generation just gets kicked into overdrive with Chromatic Explosion. The move to create an element on the bottom will ensure that you always get to set up your stun through Cold Fire and also be able to enable other abilities too, allowing you to get both the fire and the ice potentially on Cold Fire as well. So it just makes things so much easier for us to activate those other consume abilities on our other cards. The top as well is a great attack, 2 XP again, which is going to keep us accelerating with this XP, and also creating every element. Some of these elements we don't use, however, this is just great fodder for other characters too. So this is just a fantastic card in general to help your party. At level 6, we get our summon upgrade. We get Living Torch and we get rid of Aid from the Ether. So now we have our Burning Avatar rather than our Mystic Ally. The Burning Avatar is great because each attack generates fire, which means we don't even need to worry about generating the fire element now, and the avatar always goes before you, so you're always going to get that fire element to use on your turn, which is just fantastic. The top of Living Torch is also amazing, and with Chromatic Explosion we do actually now have access to the light element, so there is a chance that you can kind of combo these together, and that can be very, very useful for going against enemies with shield, for example, because it's direct damage and it goes through shield. So very, very good. So this is just basically a strict upgrade. We are losing a little bit of heal, but at this point in time, hopefully you're now getting a little bit more versed in the game. Hopefully maybe you have somebody else in your party that can heal a little bit too, and we're just concentrating on doing damage with this build. At level 7, we actually go back for a level 6 card and we take Frozen Knight, the one that we didn't take before. This is because the level 7 cards aren't particularly exciting for this build. They're not very damage focused. They're more to do with some of the other Spellweaver builds that are available. The attack 4 at melee may look a little bit strange at first, but if you consider the fact that we could still attack 3 enemies here with a gap in between, so we can still kind of keep ourselves away from the enemies with Frozen Knight here. Also, the bottom of this combos really, really well with Reviving Ether. If you think about it, that we could Reviving Ether, get all of our cards back, and the next turn we could use the night element that this makes in order for us to move 5 and go invisible and get an XP. So there is a very good combo with using that nighttime element from Reviving Ether. Also, Chromatic Explosion also generates this element. So I think this has got a really good combo potential with that card. We get rid of Forked Beam because, to be honest, Forked Beam is mainly used for the movement anyway at this point in time, and we have a move 3 on the bottom of Frozen Knight, so it's not too much of a loss. At level 8, we're upgrading Icy Blast to Cold Front. This is just a strict upgrade in damage. We're now going up to attack 5 over attack 2. Everything else pretty much remains the same apart from the pattern. The pattern can be rotated in many different ways with Cold Front. You still, on average, probably end up with 3 targets, similar to what you would probably end up with Icy Blast. The attack 5, though, more than makes up for it. It is just a fantastic card. The bottom of this card, we're not really going to be using hardly at all. You may find some corner case scenarios when you may want to retaliate against something with high shield, for example. However, it's probably not often that you're going to want to use this. We are losing a heal 6 from Icy Blast, so if you have been relying on that, that is something to think about. Perhaps somebody should be buying some healing potions or other things in your party if your party has been relying on you for heals. So here we are at level 9 with one of the best level 9 cards in the game potentially, Inferno. The combo potential on this card is nuts. You can absolutely go off and clear entire rooms with this thing, and it's not even a burn card. That's the craziest thing about it. You can get this card back and you can use it multiple times. Now, the best use of this card is obviously to be the first person to go into a room from your party and just try and do as much damage as possible. Combo this with power potions, combo this with eagle eye goggles, combo this with anything that you can to give yourself extra attack, and this thing will go crazy. It is important to note that while you are in a door, you do not count as being in either of the 2 rooms. The door is like no man's land, so if you are in a door, you do not count in any room, so you must go into the room, so you could be left in a little bit of trouble. However, you can always go invisible. This is 19 initiative, which means that you can go earlier than the rest of your team. And it's just an insane card. The other level 9 card pales in comparison to this card, really. So it's a little bit sad that the other level 9 card is not better, but this is just a huge slam dunk, and you will have a lot of fun with this. So at max level, this character just becomes a joy to play. It's very, very simple to create your elements and be able to use them efficiently. You will feel incredibly powerful at level 9 with this character, and it doesn't take too long to get there because of the fast leveling that this character has. This is one of the easiest, more overpowered characters, I would say, from the starting character set because of this. It doesn't require a huge amount of skill to play. However, you will need to keep your eye on Reviving Ether and making sure that you are not accidentally exhausting yourself. Make sure you use that Reviving Ether in a good time. So make sure that still becomes the center point of what you're doing. However, being able to use Inferno, it's going to be crazy. So at level 9, this character really is a damage powerhouse. Okay, let's take a quick look at perks. These are pretty self-explanatory like they are for most characters. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to replace 1 -1 with 1 +1, and we're going to do that twice. Then we're going to remove 4 of our 0 cards. Then we're going to start adding the +2 frost cards. Then we're going to start adding the +2 fire cards. Then we're going to do the other effects in these orders. We're going to take the +1 wound, then we're going to take the +1 curse, and then we're going to take the +1 immobilize. Some other people may actually prefer some of the other +1 cards, but personally I value wound over curse, and I value curse over immobilize. So for items, you're going to want to pick up Eagle Eye Goggles and Minor Power Potion first. These two items in combination with our Fire Orbs and Impaling Eruption and any of our future AOE cards is just fantastic. Allows us to ensure we get the most amount of damage done in a single action. Then you're going to start looking at Cloak of Invisibility and Piercing Bow. Cloak of Invisibility gives you some extra survivability and allows you to play very aggressive, get yourself into an aggressive position to be able to use Impaling Eruption and Fire Orbs on the following turn without having that danger of being attacked. Also, you can use it to scout rooms for your team, so you can go onto a door, turn invisible so that the enemies cannot move through you. Also, you can use this in other rooms to maybe help trigger traps and things like that against enemies, so very useful. Piercing Bow is amazing against shielded enemies. It will absolutely make them melt. Just disregard all of the shields. It is fantastic. So ensure that you pick this up if you're having trouble with shielded enemies, but I would recommend this for any Spellweaver really. Then for Minor Stamina Potion, it's just the old classic. Every character can do with a Minor Stamina Potion. If you have the 10 gold, I'd just recommend picking it up. They're always good. A few enhancements to think about would be putting a Strengthen on the bottom of Mana Bolt. This will allow you to gain advantage on the turn that you play it, and also the following turn. So you can use the bottom of this to give yourself Strengthen and advantage, then you can use an AOE, and then on the next turn you can use an AOE again and still get advantage. So it's essentially giving you extra pairs of Eagle Eye Goggles. It's very cheap as well, at only 50 gold. Not quite as effective, but also good, would be adding another hex to Coldfire. This will allow you to find your patterns easier, not necessarily increase it to 4 targets. You may get 4 targets out of this, but this is all about just making it a bit easier for you to find a pattern where you can get 3 characters in there. So another good upgrade. Okay, well, that's the video. Let me know what you think of this build in the comments, how you may do it differently, and what's your favorite build for the Spellweaver. Thanks for watching. If you did like this video, please do chuck it a like. It does really help here on YouTube. If you like the content, please subscribe. I've got more Gloomhaven content coming, and check out the channel if you'd like to see more of my Gloomhaven content that I've made. And also, I stream regularly on Twitch at twitch.tv/mandatoryquest. I stream there every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, so come say hi and check it out if you like. But until next time, see you later, guys. I have a heal potion too. I mean, you know, so there's no way I can lose. What?